So let me talk a little bit about different types of jobs that you could get in the field of finance. And I'm not going to talk about all of these that are listed here, but this gives you an idea of a lot of the choices. So in investment banking in the top left corner, you've often probably heard about these types of people having 80 to 100-hour work weeks. And although the workload is burdensome, know that banking and consulting are the two best ways to quickly build marketable skills and get access to the most compelling senior level finance jobs. Investment bankers operate as intermediaries between clients, like for example Tiffany and Company, and investors, for example private equity firms. When clients want to sell their business or need money to grow, they hire an investment bank to market their company and attract potential investors. On a day to day basis, investment bankers construct detailed financial models, assemble marketing presentations called pitch books, and meet with clients and investors. Great investment bankers are disciplined, driven, and have an intense attention to detail. Potential companies include Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Greenhill. There are also, let's look at investment management and hedge funds. So, fund management. This career category is a bit of a catch all in that it includes the remaining opportunities to work as a professional investor. These roles are very research driven and depend on your ability to take in and analyze vast amounts of information to generate compelling investment ideas. For example, this could include reading macroeconomic reports on India, analyzing demographic data from the US Census, and participating in conference calls with a German construction company management team. All of these sources of data must be analyzed and used to make profitable investments in company stock or debt, or even in government debt, like U.S. Treasury bonds. Successful investment managers typically enjoy learning and are able to analyze information and write intuitive, compelling investment reports. Potential companies include Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, and PIMCO. And then there's always corporate finance, which is not totally listed here, but is one. Corporate finance is the largest category of finance jobs available, and it's attractive due to many of its qualities like stability and a typical work-life balance. Corporate finance is effectively the department within any business that is responsible for creating and maintaining the budget and analyzing the profitability of various projects. I basically worked in corporate finance in my career. First, I worked at ExxonMobil as a gas revenue accountant, and second, I worked at Altel as a financial analyst in the financial planning department first, and then in the treasury department. So, in this type of job, your scope of responsibility depends on the size of the company you work for. A small startup company might provide the opportunity to work directly with the senior management team, like the CFO, while larger companies might have you instead focus on managing and reducing the costs of a particular product. And for example, when I worked at Altel, I had dealt with the budgeting for our internet product. Successful corporate finance professionals enjoy predictability, have a strong grasp of accounting, and prefer to work in structured environments with a very specific job function. And again, for example, I had to know how to make journal entries in like the accounting aspect of my job as a gas revenue accountant, and also as a financial analyst analyzing the budget. I had to analyze journal entries that were made and make sure that those were correct journal entries made by other people. So potential companies for corporate finance, just a few, are General Electric, Netflix, and ExxonMobil. And then you've got, let's see how they talked about it here. Well, there are financial advisors, and they didn't really list that one here, so you can see there's even more than what's listed here. This was the best picture I could find. Financial advisors are responsible for advising families on investments like life insurance and saving for college and retirement expenses. Advisors are relationally driven and are very good at client service. But launching a career as a financial advisor can be difficult given the lack of experience and clients' unwillingness to trust a young individual with their financial future. And really, if you're starting as a financial advisor, you spend a lot of time trying to sell your services and generate a large portion of your income through commissions. An example of this would be like if you went to work with Northwestern Mutual or if you became a certified financial planner. This compensation structure is ideal for someone with excellent salesmanship, high emotional intelligence, and an entrepreneurial edge. Entering this industry alongside an established financial advisor increases your likelihood of success, but is possible to thrive on your own if you are highly motivated and resilient. Potential companies include Ameriprise Financial and Edward Jones. And then just to point out a few others, trading means that you actually are a trader and you have to get licenses to become a trader, and you would be selling stocks or bonds. Retail banking would be like if you went down to work for First Tennessee Bank or Bank of America and you worked inside the bank. You might have to start out like in a management rotation program where you go through and you're a teller for a while and then you work with the loans for a while. You get some different experience in different areas. Typically banks don't offer salaries that are as good as other types of jobs. If you're really good at math and you love statistics, then the actuarial job is actually a really great job to have. So you're working on probabilities for figuring out prices for products like for life insurance or disability insurance. And usually these are from what I hear, they're kind of low stress jobs. It's just that you really have to be extremely good at math and statistics. And then corporate law, I'm not quite so sure why they have that here, but maybe if you also got a law degree. An example, my father, he got an MBA in finance and then he went to law school, and he ended up being a lawyer that argued for the rates of return that Southwestern Bell should earn or what they should be able to charge to their customers. So I guess that could be an example there. There's always like being a consultant. You can always go into an accountant role like I did. My first job, I was a gas revenue accountant because that was really the only entry position into ExxonMobil. You couldn't just start out in a finance title job. Compliance and risk, if you think about, and this might be different from what they were meaning, but there's also a company in town called Beacon Verification, and they go through and verify other like mutual funds, the returns that they say that they're earning, and then they get that like stamp of approval and makes their returns more valid. And then there's also insurance, and that's again like if you went into Northwestern Mutual and you're trying to sell life insurance, long-term disability, all those types of things. And I think I covered all of those different areas plus some more. So that gives you an idea of some different types of finance careers. So I wanted to provide you that overview before you listen to the Chapter 1 PowerPoint lecture.